Hey everybody, it's Taylor with Boydston Grove, and today I'm going to show you 5 different easy projects that you can batch out for your next market or craft sale. Let's get into it.
This should be fun.
This video is sponsored by WeCreat. Now let me just preface this video by saying these are not your mega money making items. These are small grab and go items for those people perusing your booth after they spent most of their money on artisanal cheeses 2 booths down. We all know who I'm talking about. Project number 1 is going to be a leash hanger. I printed out a bone-shaped template and traced it onto some 1/4" plywood to make a more permanent template that I can use from here on out. I'm making mine from a piece of 3/4" pine board, but you could also use some nice birch plywood. I used the blue tape, CA glue, and activator trick to hold my template down to the pine board and used a flush trim bit and my router to cut it out. Then I put a round over on both sides and sanded it smooth. Before going further, I stuck it into my WeCreat Vision Pro laser engraver to add a phrase. The WeCreat Vision Pro is so easy to use with its built-in camera. I could position my design exactly where I wanted it. Now I am going to be using a laser engraver for a lot of these projects because I have found in my experience that customized items sell much better. The Vision Pro made quick work of the project, and when it was done, I added a few coats of spray-on lacquer. Once the finish was dry, I added a few D-ring holders to the back and some hooks to the front, and project number 1 is complete. As you can see, this is a super simple project and a great item for all those people out there that just love their little fur babies. I am definitely not one of those people. Pom here is a rough and tumble shop dog, and she definitely doesn't cower every time I use the nail gun. Right, Pom? You gotta stop shivering when I'm doing this bit. We talked about this. Project number 2 is going to be a house-shaped candle holder. I'm making mine in sets, so I cut a piece of 4x4 to 3 different lengths: 5 inches, 6 inches, and 7 inches. I marked out a spot for the hole and used a 7/8 inch Forstner bit to drill it out. Now keep in mind, we want these to look like little houses, so we're going to be cutting the tops at peaks. So you want to make sure that the hole that you're drilling is off-centered so it doesn't end up on the peak, and you also want to make sure that it is deep enough that it goes past the place where you're going to cut it. Once the holes were drilled, I made the 45-degree cuts to create the roof and sanded them all nice and smooth. I cut some 3/4" pipe to fit in each little house and glued it into the holes using hot glue. Copper pipe can be cut really easily with the miter saw, just make sure you're moving really slow and wearing eye protection. Most big box home improvement stores sell pre-cut 2-foot lengths of copper pipe, so you can buy just what you need. I sprayed half of the houses with spray-on lacquer and painted the other half of them black. That does it for project number 2. Now I have found that these sell best in groups of 2 or 3 at different heights, so keep that in mind when you're batching them out. You also might want to run some sandpaper around the inside and outside edge of the chimney so there's no spurs on here. Another thing to keep in mind is not all taper candles are created equal. They may be a little thicker, so you may have to trim the ends a bit to get them to fit in the pipe. Let me take a minute to tell you about today's sponsor, WeCreat, and their Vision Pro 45-watt laser engraver. Now, I've had the opportunity to work with 5 different laser engraver companies and use 7 different laser engravers, and the one thing that I have found true is that you get what you pay for. The Vision Pro is completely enclosed, which means I can keep it in my office just a few feet from my desk. It also features a 45-watt laser, which means it can cut some pretty thick material, and I can do a full project right here on this laser engraver. Most laser engraver companies sell accessories or add-ons to increase the height of your laser so you can work on larger projects. But as you can see on the Vision Pro, they've already included it in the build. This Vision Pro right here will adjust its height based on the thickness of your material. So you can actually work on some pretty large projects without having to add any extra accessories. And it even fits their own rotary tool right inside the laser engraver. Now, my favorite feature about the Vision Pro is the built-in camera, so that I have the ability to see the exact project I'm working on and position my engraving right where I want it. With that camera feature, I can also put in multiple projects at once and burn different designs on each one of them. The WeCreat Vision Pro may be at the high end of the price bracket, but for a guy like me who wants to focus mainly on the woodworking side of things, the convenience and ease of use of this machine makes the price well worth it. If you would like more details on the WeCreat Vision Pro that we're using here, or any of the other products that WeCreat has to offer, just hit the link in the description below. And make sure that you use the coupon code BoydstonGrove at checkout to get an extra $100 off your purchase. That's BoydstonGrove to get an extra $100 off your purchase. Now, back to our projects. Project number 3 is a solo cup holder. Yes, you heard it right, a holder for disposable cups. I cut some 3/4 inch material to make a little box. You can make yours fancy and miter the corners, but I decided to keep it simple and just use butt joints.
Did he just say what I thought he said?
The average solo cup measures around 3 3/4 inches to 4 inches in diameter, so I made my little holder with an inside measurement of 4 inches by 4 inches. Before assembling the little box, I put some of the pieces into my WeCreat Vision Pro to engrave a few of the sides. Remember, customizing your items increases their value. With that done, I assembled the little box using glue and brad nails. The box only needs to be 3 to 4 inches deep, but make sure that you account for the thickness of the bottom. I drilled a hole on one side to fit a Sharpie, and then after some putty and sanding, I added a few coats of spray-on lacquer. This is a perfect little item for any get-together and would make a great item on your booth, but honestly, it's a super simple project that almost anyone can build. That's why a little customization can go a long way, because people will be more inclined to buy it from you than to just make it themselves. Project number 4 is a house-shaped picture hanger. I typically make mine out of some 2x6 material, so they'll be nice and sturdy. A good height is around 8 inches. Sometimes I paint these white and sometimes I leave them natural. I also cut some thin pieces of cedar to use as a roof and a little base. This step is optional, but I have found that I sell more of the ones with the extra pieces. Before assembly, I stuck them into the Vision Pro and added some phrases to the bottoms. I added some painter's tape on the painted one to prevent any scorching from getting on the painted surface. After a quick assembly, I applied a few coats of, you guessed it, spray-on lacquer. Then I added a little clip for a picture hanger, and we're done. Now, I've tried these houses in many different combos, and what I have found that sells the best is having the house be white or light gray and the roof and base be natural wood. I purchased the little clips in bulk off of Amazon. I'll make sure to leave a link to those in the description below. Our final project is going to be a tag. You'll see what I mean. This project is crazy simple. You just cut a piece of 2x4 to 6 inches and nip off 2 corners on one end, leaving about an inch in between. Then drill a 7/16 or ½ inch hole about 1 inch from that same end. After painting some of them, I put them in the Vision Pro to add a phrase. When coming up with phrases, just try to think of the season you're in. A good idea is to visit Hobby Lobby's seasonal section to see what phrases or sayings are currently popular. Short Bible scriptures also work well. With that done, I used some hemp rope and threaded on some wooden craft beads of various sizes. I pre-painted some of them to add a little extra interest. To make it fancy, I made a little tassel to tie off the end. How to make your tassels. Wrap the rope around your fingers. Pinch close to one end and wrap around it and tie it off. Then cut the loops on the longer end, and there you have it, a homemade tassel. Believe it or not, I actually sell a ton of these. They're cheap and easy to make, so I can sell them pretty cheap, and people tend to buy multiples so they can give them away to family and friends. Alright, there's our 5 projects. Like I said before, these aren't your major money makers. These are quick grab and go items that you can batch out really easily out of some scrap wood. A big shout out and thank you to WeCreat for sponsoring this video. If you want to see more details on the Vision Pro, just make sure to hit the link below. A big thank you to all our Grove members who faithfully support this channel so that we can continue to make content like this. I hope this video gave you some good ideas of projects that you can batch out for your next market or craft sale. Thank you very much for watching, be safe, and have a great day.